This was a very distorted story. And there was this hysteria in Congress that the Chinese are going to take over. Diego Garcia, tell us a little bit about why this story is important.
So Mauritius struck a deal with the United Kingdom, which took years and years to negotiate. The United Kingdom, as part of its waning empire, still has this death grip on this little archipelago next to Mauritius, which rightly belongs to Mauritius. So they've now made a deal with Mauritius to hand it over. And part of the deal, so the thing you need to keep in mind is that one of these islands is an island called Diego Garcia, which houses a big military base, an air base that's jointly used by the UK and the US. And they were, for example, they were flying bombing runs on Afghanistan. They were flying from Diego Garcia. So the Mauritians struck a deal with the UK for a 99-year lease, where the UK would control that one island for 99 years. And that would then, in theory, kind of ensure the free use of that island for the US and UK militaries. Since then, the new government of Mauritius have said that they're not happy with the deal. They have suggestions, and they feel the deal isn't really fulfilling what Mauritius needs to get. They now threw the deal back to the UK. They're in negotiations now. No one knows what the new suggestions are. They don't know what the problems are with the old deal. It's all very interesting and funny. Meanwhile, the UK is melting down. It's like the full display of the UK's waning influence in the world, because you can just feel the kind of imperial kind of shift where they're like, but why aren't people listening to us, And then at the same time, also these UK people like Nigel Farage are back and forth in Washington, and he's been making the point that MAGA people are extremely upset about this deal, and around the idea that Mauritius has too close ties to China, and that then gives...
Which is not true?
Yeah, I mean, it's not... Mauritius does... I mean, they have a free trade agreement, but they're not particularly pro-Chinese.
No, they're not.
So all of this is both new geopolitics, this kind of thing where every single thing in the world is about China, and and every kind of country's election is somehow framed by its effect on China. But it's also fascinating in terms of old empire, old kind of Western colonialism, and how it still has such a grip in parts of the developing world, and how China's playing into that, and how that is then driving up anxieties in places like London. So all of it is very, very funny for me. This is it's like a comedy, actually.
Yeah, that is a fascinating story that came up on our radar, but we didn't dive into it as much as I think we should have. So I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm hoping we'll do more analysis on that, since, Giraud, how often do we get a Mauritius story that's this big? So this is on your doorstep. We're counting on you to give us more on this story.